Straight ahead on Newswatch 16 at noon, the search for a killer. Scranton police say a taxi cab driver was murdered on the job. The latest on the investigation and what we learned moments ago coming up.
It was graphic, it was bloody, and it was senseless, and it was sad.
A neighborhood rattled this morning after police say a taxi cab driver is murdered on the job. The shooter is still on the loose. And good afternoon, everyone. Lots going on today. We're going to begin in Scranton, where police are searching for the killer who shot a taxi driver early this morning, a cab driver who was just weeks on the job. Let's go right to Newswatch 16's Ryan Leckie, who's been on the scene all day. Ryan, what's the latest?
Marisa, investigators have just identified the taxi cab driver who Scranton police say was murdered here along the 1600 block of Crown Avenue right around 4:30 this morning. We have obtained a picture of the victim. He is 47-year-old Vincent Darbenzio. He lost his life on the job just about a mile and a half from his own house, and just a short time before many kids in this area were waking up for school. It's these images that Misty Losavich of South Scranton hasn't been able to stop thinking about since early this morning.
I saw somebody who had been shot in the back of his head, obviously, and the bottom of his body was still in the vehicle. The top of his body was on the ground.
When Losavich walked out her front door, this is the scene that eventually unfolded along the 1600 block of Crown Avenue. Police everywhere. Investigators confirm 47-year-old Vincent Darbenzio of Scranton, a McCarthy-flowered cab taxi driver, was murdered. It's the second homicide in the city this year.
At the very least, that's somebody's son that is now senselessly no longer with us. I'm still shaking and I don't even want to talk to the kids about why they can't come outside and why they didn't go to school.
This is just absolutely barbaric, and even for the kids that live in this neighborhood to have to wake up this morning and see a homicide, steps from the windows, it's just ridiculous.
Brian McCarthy learned about the death of his employee overnight. He says the cab driver had only been on the job for about 5 weeks and was a hard worker.
But he made a pickup in West Side, and he told us where the destination was, which was over right here where we are now. And the dispatcher never heard from him again, and the dispatcher started to get very nervous and started to send other cabs out looking for him. And one of our own cab drivers found him here, apparently hanging out of the cab with a gunshot to his head.
Violence that took place near the Valley View Terrace housing development in Scranton. We were there as parents helped their kids head off to class. Police were also on hand, asking questions, all with hopes of catching the person who pulled the trigger.
It was graphic, it was bloody, and it was senseless, and it was sad.
And as far as the motive in this murder, Scranton police have not yet released that information. And again, we want to stress, no arrests have been made. I'm Ryan Leckie, Newswatch 16, reporting live in Lackawanna County this noon. Marisa, back to you.
Very disturbing. All right, Ryan, thank you for that today. And now to today's
for identification this morning. In addition, parents are on high alert as they are sending their children off to school.
Well, that's the scary part about it. Now the kids are getting up for school and they have to see this, and it's a shame. It's just a shame.
Maria Sanchez kept her 2 young children inside while police investigated the scene. She saw the aftermath of the shooting from her front porch.
It was just horrible. It was a horrible sight. You could see the blood on the ground. You could see the guy just hanging out of the car, on the ground. It was terrible.
Brian McCarthy tells Eyewitness News the driver of the cab had only worked for him for a few short weeks.
This is just tragic. It's absolutely horrendous to think that somebody would do this for just a couple of $100 or whatever their motive was.
Reporting in Scranton, Jasmine Brooks, Eyewitness News.
Now, once again, Scranton police say no one is in custody in connection with this deadly shooting at this time. But if you have any information, you're urged to call 911 immediately. For now, we're live in South Scranton. Eric Dable, Eyewitness News. Monica.
All right, Eric, thank you.